here we go. Episode 2 of Leftover Ramen. Welcome to Leftover Ramen, where the takes might be bad, but the content is always full of flavor. I'm here again with Brandon and Nick. We're going to roll through a couple topics today. But first off, how y'all boys doing?
We doing good, bro. Yes, sir. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
doing good, man. Doing good. Doing good.
Living life, man.
You got a
Yeah.
retwist, Nick? What we looking like?
Nah, I ain't get no retwist. Just had a little twist out, and then I need a retwist. Washed my hair last week, but I don't know. I've been working in the warehouse a lot. My hair's been going through it, but we gonna get back right. Don't you worry. Gonna get back right. Y'all just got to bear with me here. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, okay. All right. So you got the X-Men shirt on, B?
That's right. Got that from you. Yes, sir.
That's right. It looks good. X-Men 97 went crazy.
Sure did. Sure did.
I'm repping
All
Jackie
right.
right now. A little
okay.
crazy looking for some folks. That's that old school how I used to do them, just color them in. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. I tell y'all about this past week. I went swimming,
No.
You
and
told me. You
the
told
big
me.
boy. So I was in there. Y'all, as you know, I've been swimming. I've been trying to get right. Swimming's easy on me. Former offensive lineman, a little easy on the knees here. So I was in a pool because I got these headphones. You could listen to like MP3 in the water. So I'm
Yeah.
in the water. That's pretty cool. I had them in my ears. Had the little cap on. I was doing the whole thing. I was listening to like Tyler Creator. Had some Kendrick, and these little kids stopped by. They next to me. They kind of struggling in the water. Nearby, they playing with like a little throwing some kind of ball. And they gonna stop and said, "You listening to music?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm listening to music. What's up?" He's like, "Oh, that's cool. That's cool." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "So yeah, I've been doing it. It helps make swimming a lot easier." And you're gonna go, "Hold up, you can swim?" I looked at that man dead at his face and said, "Now you just saw me going back and forth, but yeah, I can swim. How you swim?" Not something you could just answer in one sentence, but I was like,
Nah, for
"All
real.
right, man. You do this, and you kind of go through it." And mind you, these boys look just like I did. You know, got a little extra lbs on there,
Yes,
but
Get your
sir.
LBs on.
and little no big black boys, which hey
Some
man,
boys
you
can
gotta help
say.
them out. Help them out. That's why we do this, because
Yeah.
representation. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'll be authentic, be
Yeah.
yourself. So that was an interesting moment. I was trying to show them a little thing, and that was kind of cool. But that was something this past week. It's kind of a highlight of like, wow, a lot of stereotypes were going on, but hopefully maybe they get some interested in swimming. I don't know. I just really, I knew how to swim to survive, but like actually swimming for laps is a recent thing for me. So that was
Mm.
interesting thing of being able to be yourself and be able to watch your shows and stuff we talk about sports, swim. I don't know if we're gonna be talking about swimming on here, but I just wanted to touch on that part of my that was kind of cool. Something to highlight here. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
that we're trying to escape some stereotypes. Black is not a monolith. There's a lot of different types of us. But little chubby black boys asking how to swim, I feel like that's always gonna be relevant.
That seemed
Yeah.
like some out of a movie, bro. Like kind of like a Sandlot type of thing. Just a little kid walk up to you, hey, bro, how you do that? Just like how the random scenes how they be.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
seemed
Hmm.
yeah.
like
No,
interesting.
that was exactly how it went. So that was something I thought was interesting. Just want to call that out. That happened to me, and feel like I was looking in the mirror a little bit, and it's a little bit much for me to take that in, but it is what it is.
You know that when you said that, it actually reminded me of like a movie quote, and then it's actually speaking of Marvel, it was Spider-Man 2. Yeah,
Mm.
and it ended up being a Disney guy. I forget his name, but he was on Camp Rock. He was like, "How you do that?" And then he said, "You just gotta eat your green vegetables," because it was that scene where,
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
flipped over a
I know
car.
you talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Mm,
That just
straight
made me
up.
think about that.
It was similar to that. And it was kind of like in like Incredibles. What
Yeah,
are you waiting for? I don't know.
I don't
Something
know.
amazing, I guess.
something.
Classic, boy.
uh,
Still a top
Classic,
bro, that
tier
joke was funny, bro.
Disney movie for me.
Can't close the
classic.
door. Broke the door.
Yeah,
Tried to
bro.
fit in the car. That joke was crazy.
talk about amazing. We're gonna go right into last night's game. So this is our chop it up sports segment. Finals. We're gonna talk about that. Come on, man. What on earth
Let's
is
do
Yeah,
it,
going
man.
on? It looked like the Pacers are gonna
yeah.
lock that thing up.
Yeah,
Brandon, what
what?
are your thoughts?
I was telling Nick yesterday because we actually watched this together. I was like, man, I don't know, man. Once Shea hit that three, and then it seemed like they couldn't hit those free throws afterwards. It
Hmm.
felt like it was a wrap. I mean, because once he hit the three, it seemed like Tyrese was trying to play hero ball for a second. I'm like, why are you on ISO? Y'all were doing a great job moving the ball around and getting open looks and getting the best shot, like literally running clock. And then it was like, all right, everybody get out of the way. Let me just close the game. And I'm like, I get it. Like he's had some clutch moments, but I was telling him like the way they've been playing, it's been a little different than that. Like he's still a point guard, but he's a really good point guard as far as like getting those assists and make sure everybody else eats. But it got to that point where it's like I don't. I think they went into that situation a little too soon, and I think that was something that I think ended up being the end of them for that game and taking it to 2-2
Yeah,
instead of 3-1 because they, like you said, they definitely had it, and Shea started getting hot. So I think the pressure of let me live up to being the other superstar against Shea, I think that might have got him. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Nick,
yeah,
what you
yeah.
got?
Yeah. I mean, to add on to that, like OKC, they were struggling from shooting for three the whole game. Like they were like maybe 12% from 3 point that game, and like they just weren't getting anything down. But like they were still finding ways to keep the deficit close enough for if they did have a run, which they did, then they would be they win the game. And I mean, we saw that's what happened. And the Pacers, they lost that game. Like that was their game to win. They messed that up. And that's going to be a huge turning point. If OKC goes back home and they win this next game, they're going to wish they had this game back. Especially just the way things were going. I mean, they were hot. Everybody was shooting on all cylinders for the Pacers. Um, but when those last crucial minutes, man, that's when you need to do something. I mean, like B said, I mean, there was a lot of ISO. There wasn't a lot of team ball, a lot of plays going in, like a lot of ball movement. None of that. Just a whole bunch of ISO. And I mean, it got back to them, and OKC took advantage of those missed opportunities on those on their drives and things like that. And especially with the free throws, we were talking about this. I mean, Matherin coming in after Neesmith fouled out. Matherin just missing three out of his four free throws, bro. If he made those, Pacers still would have had a chance to do something in that game. So it's just like those little key things that really hurt them. And I mean, OKC took advantage of it. And I mean, but to be honest with you, if OKC wants to come through and just like finish this game or this series, they need more from Chet Holmgren, bro, because he didn't really play up to that part that they needed to be playing at. And it just can't be Shea every time, and it can't be all them other boys that they got from the first round draft picks from those years, man. But I mean, they're a young team. They're gonna be relevant for this next decade, to be honest with you. And that was another thing that me and B were talking about. It's like, okay, see, I mean, if they do end up losing this series, they're going to be back. I mean, they got this talent. I mean, this is an easy turnaround, and we back in it. And I mean, there's a lot of teams in the league that are kind of like that, but the Pacers, like the time is now, so they got to take advantage of this, bro, because they don't have that many like big stars on their team, but like they play well together, and like that usually happens. You go on these runs like they have this year. No one's expecting the Pacers to get this far, but I mean, look at them now. So like they got a lot back in Game 5, but it's a good series. I mean, we were talking about like it's been a while since we had a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. I mean, hopefully it's one of those Game 7. We'll see though.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
what Nick was saying, like I was also to that point when Nick was saying this might be like that 1 year for the Pacers. I mean, I kind of compared it to that 1 year for the Bucks, where it's like, all right, well, kind of felt random, but the Bucks they had opportunity and they took advantage, and Giannis and them they came in, they locked it down when they were not expected to win that series against Arizona, the Phoenix. So it was kind of like in that sense, I I feel like the time is now. Not saying that it's over, but it is a big swing because whenever you lose home court advantage, it's it feels like all right. Well, that's a especially the way they did it. Like it's kind of the way the Pacers did OKC in the first game. It was like all right, well, they had him the whole entire time, and then not as dramatic, but toward the end, the star of the team made the shots, and the game ended up being taken away by the road team. So I think that's just a big swing to it. Not saying it's over. Like we'll see what happens. Like it's one of those things. But now you're like, okay, we got a series. It could happen. Like Pacers can win on the road. OKC can win on the road. You can't really project how it's going to end, but you're like, you're just glad that it's a really good series because you thought it was going to be over once it started. So
yeah,
I do
yeah,
find it
I agree.
interesting. One of the things you talked about, one being the youth part, and the fact that the Pacers have been there. They were basically there last year. They weren't in the finals, but they were there in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Meanwhile, the Thunder, even though they've been the better team all year, they're the second youngest team to make the finals in recent history, at least. I think at least in the last couple decades, maybe ever. I'll have to confirm that, but I do know that you were talking about, they had the upper in this part of the game, but then lost it. And that's very much the same situation happened in game one, but inverse with the Thunder.
Yeah.
But what makes the Pacers so unique is Halliburton. It's like he doesn't have this consistent games where he's just dominating, and then he gets there, he gets the ball, he knows what to do with it. It lasts 4 minutes, 2 minutes in the game, right? Then it's like if he has a shot, you're going to trust him to get it. If it's close, don't be down two, that kind of situation. But Shea and they're playing more tradition where he's like, you have the MVP star who's going to take you to the finals, and like that kind of narrative is usually what fits right. I think that's what's so weird about the Pacers is Halliburton's been good, and at least there's usually one player which is like, oh, that's a dominant player on the team. It's going to take us all the way. Because you even mentioned Giannis in that year, but Giannis was Giannis. He was like a top 5 player. The league is usually going to take you to the finals and be the guy to push you over. Whereas the Pacers have so much depth that usually takes them to get there. But it's so interesting because the Thunder have had the best bench all year. So then you're seeing how is their bench getting outplayed for most of these games. But one of the things, like the execution down the stretch, it got a little wonky, and then they were missing free throws. It was so was Neesmith miss his first 4, and then towards the end he missed another one. He made the last one, but that was the difference. Then you get Shea's one of the best free throwers in the entire free throw shooters in the entire league. So that just kind of really told the story to me. But I don't know, 2-2. It's an exciting thing. It's good for the NBA that this is a competitive game. A lot of people going into it were like, it's going to be a wrap. Thunder going to walk out of it. Then they're going to get even better. Still might happen. The good part of it, I was like, I don't think the Thunder can come back. I don't think the Pacers are going to, be one of those teams to let them get 3-1 like some of the ones we've had in the past. But we'll see. I think it'll be good to watch, and we'll see what's going to happen out of that. Who do you think ultimately will win the series? If you got to take right now, we got best 2 out of 3 now.
Give me OKC.
OKC.
Give me OKC. Yeah. Just because the Pacers, they didn't show it to me yesterday. OKC, obviously they were worn out in most of the game, but they still stood true to what they do, and they got the job done. And like normally, like throughout this whole like playoff run, the Pacers, the team that they've played, like the Cavs, the Bucks, the Knicks, like in these games, they would come out with the victory. But like OKC in this case changed that narrative, and from that point, I feel like they're the team that can do it. Especially if you're getting Neesmith out the game. Neesmith is one of the best defenders, on the Pacers. I mean, also with Nembhard, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if you get him out the game, I mean, there's only so many people that can guard Shea. You know what I'm saying? So, like, just that little aspect of it, that's what really kind of got me swinging. Not even the fact that they, like, just got it to 2-2, but how they answered. That's kind of what's got me changing my mind and going with OKC now. But going into it yesterday, I had the Pacers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still roll with the Pacers. I mean, obviously, whoever wins his next game in OKC, I think that's gonna be the winner. The way it's been going, fun stat. Neither one of these teams, after a loss, they lose the next game, so they just don't lose the second game. Like that hasn't happened for Indiana since January started, and then OKC, especially at home, they don't lose back to back games. So I think whoever wins this one, just by the math of it, obviously will get the edge. If Indiana goes in and wins, I'm not saying they'll win it in the seventh, but I have a good feeling they can win it back at home. Learning that, having that experience of, hey, like we got a little too greedy, like toward the end, like we had where we wanted them. Shea made his shots, but if we just took care of the ball toward the end and made our shots, then math, simply they just weren't gonna be able to catch up because they weren't hitting threes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the point where, like, it didn't make any sense for them to switch up and go into that. I think they played into the whole, no, let me match the superstar because now their superstar's now playing. And I'm like, yeah, I think they just turned from what they were doing. And I think we saw them both at their best in that game itself, or the last two games. Indiana at home the last two games, and I think that was something where it told me a lot. Like the bench,
Yeah.
that's gonna be the thing. Like the bench is still playing better for the Pacers, and I think that's been the big swing there. And if they can at least, do what they did to Shea the last two games prior to him going crazy in the fourth quarter, they had his number, and I think that's the formula for them to win. But it's going to be hard to do it on the road. So if they can pull it out, I think they win. If OKC does, OKC's going to win it. But I'm going to say the Pacers do.
Okay.
I think the Thunder take it out. I think that's what's going to happen here at this point because it's still been one of those guys hasn't stepped up yet for them. I think one of them will at this stage. I think the Pacers needed to win that game and just light this up. I think the Thunder's defense, they've been having these little sloppy games where all these turnovers back to back. I do agree that it's really slim chance that the Pacers win the next game. 82.8% of the time, the winner of Game 5 and the best 2 out of 2 in the NBA Finals is going to be the winner of the entire thing. So obviously, we go without saying it's a big game, but it's going to be at home for OKC. They've been good all year. We'll see if they're able to pull it out, but it'll be fun to watch regardless. I think the bigger thing will be what happens after the series, which is going to be NBA offseason. Where's KD going to go? What are the Knicks going to do? Who's going to be their new coach? A lot of stuff to talk about.
Going to go.
So a lot to happen, but let's save that. I do want to go right into what are the Steelers doing? Because
I tell you what, man. They're wasting their time, bro. They just waiting to get a quarterback next year, bro. Let's just be real. We all knew Mason Rudolph wasn't gonna start for the Steelers, so like we all knew they were going to just try to get Aaron Rodgers. But the thing is, it's just like first you had DK Metcalf and you had George Pickens, but George Pickens is on the Cowboys now. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, okay, you get rid of George Pickens, and now Steelers fans are like, whoa, all right. So we get rid of George Pickens. We still don't have a quarterback. You don't get Shadur. You don't get any of the quarterbacks in the draft except for Will Howard from Ohio State. Hopefully he develops into somebody, but you never know. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. You never know. I mean, he was okay in college, but he wasn't flashy. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like he's not like going to be that crazy NFL type of player that they're going to have. So they're going to have to draft another quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, you get Aaron Rodgers, bro, is 41 years old, bro. Like, he needs to retire. He's honestly hurting his resume to be in the Hall of Fame, to be honest with you. But
he's in there. It's just like he ain't not going to be in there. He's going to be in there. It's kind of just rough. It's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
He's in there for sure. He has multiple MVPs. He's going to be in there. It would have been a lot better looking.
He just need to get it done. Yeah, bro. He just need to finish.
He's hurting that a little bit. Yeah, Nick, I'm kind of like with you. The way I see it, And I thought the Steelers had a really good opportunity, but I think the pride of ownership and like the whole, yeah, like we never have a losing season with Mike Tomlin. I think that's coming into play a little bit, and it's like, all right, well, it really was facing them, looking them in the face of having a losing season with Mason Rudolph and getting rid of like all these offensive pieces, and now you got the whole contract thing going on with T.J. Watt, and and it's like the
Yeah,
real good opportunity if you're really forward thinking, you're like, all right, well, TJ Watt, obviously he's gonna be good and it's gonna hurt,
Yeah.
but we're a defensive team, so like you gotta think of it this way, like we should be able to, invest more in offense because we know just by coaching and by, culture, we'll be okay on defense. Like we'll be able to improve. We have a better chance of being better on defense with lesser talent than we do being better on offense because we're a defensive team. Our culture, history has always been being defense. And so with that and Tom being a defensive coach, like,
Yeah.
they don't develop quarterbacks like that. And to be honest, I mean, Will Howard's there, but I'm not optimistic that he's going to be anything because
Exactly.
what proof do they have of them developing quarterbacks? Even, I mean,
No
Ben
proof.
wasn't that late of a quarterback pick, so he was a better prospect going out. So, of course, I mean, Bradshaw, a way better prospect. So, the opportunity was there, especially next year, with having a really big quarterback draft and all these great quarterbacks
was
coming
the
in.
opportunity there? Who were they going to take at that pick?
What are you saying?
You saying the opportunity was there this past year?
No, I'm saying next year. Next year, the
Next year.
opportunity's there. If say like they just let it play out, they made a few trades, got some more picks.
What
How
quarterback are you taking that you think is going to be a guy? Because I don't think Arch comes out.
we'll see that.
You got Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier, LSU, Sam
What,
Levitt, Arizona State,
what about that guy
Nico.
in South Carolina?
All right, I'll give you him.
So he's pretty good.
Yeah,
And then,
Lenore Sellers.
Sellers, yeah.
Yeah,
mhm.
Lenore
I'm,
Sellers.
I'm
Do you
like,
think he's a top guy?
I
Like if
still believe it.
he was in the draft with Caleb Williams
That's a
and
different draft
Jaden
we're talking about.
Daniels,
We're talking
if
about
he
this
was
year.
in this draft,
We're talking about
yeah,
this
but
year.
I'm comparing. It's
Hey,
about
in
value.
2 years though, for sure, there's gonna be some good quarterbacks in 2 years. You got
With Art,
Arch, you got DJ Lagway,
yeah.
you got what's that other guy? No, he has 3 more years. I'm thinking about the quarterback who's at Michigan now.
Oh yeah, he
We'll
didn't
see.
start yet, Nick. I
Yeah, he
mean,
got
my
3 more
thing
years.
is, there wasn't a quarterback this year that you're going to get. Next year, I mean, you have a better chance next year. If you weren't confident about this year, I mean, are you just going to try to stay, the same? Like you're not making vast improvements, staying middle of the pack in draft, and that's kind of what my thought is. I'm like, yeah, it might hurt to lose like that, but I'm like, all right, well, you're giving away Pickens. You already let Najee walk, and I'm like, all right, well, it's time to restructure, regroup, get you some more
Start over.
young stars, and then start developing your offense a little bit more. I mean, that's just kind of the way I see it. But I mean, where they're at right now, like I said, I think it's just more so. Say they even make it to the playoffs, they're not beating Patrick Mahomes as a wild card team. They're not beating Josh Allen as a wild card team. I mean, it's just not
Nah,
happening. Like
I mean,
Yeah,
Baltimore right there in their division.
Baltimore, like
Baltimore.
Cincinnati,
The
they forget about
Bengals,
Cincinnati.
the Bengals
Bengals.
they
That's
got to
another
clear
mess
some things
too.
too.
They got a mess too
They're kind of
with
Yeah,
his
messing around too,
contract.
but still, I mean, I don't see them beating them, especially when it gets to a shootout. So it's kind of like what are you like? What are you doing? Like, where are you really advancing yourself to being a Super Bowl team? Like you always, pride yourself on. 'Cause now it's starting to be a big drought.
Mediocre.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. There's not a clear plan. You bring Tomlin's still there, and it's not like Tomlin's going to be in a position where they're going to let him be the guy to restart a team, right? So it's usually that's when you get rid of the coach. It's kind of it feels like the same lame duck situation the Cowboys are just in with Mike McCarthy, where they didn't really want to keep him, but they never want to rebuild. Those franchises are similar in that way, where they never do a full rebuild because Tomlin's going to get you to 500. I mean, every time. Steelers never want to be bad, but you need to be bad to get one of these quarterbacks unless you're going to make a trade. And then you got TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, this very lopsided view of veterans who have been around. So I mean, we'll see if I'm them and it starts looking funky. TJ Watt could definitely, if they don't get a deal, he's not going to play. He might be a trade target, go to a team who's going to be looking to do something, before the trade deadline. Keep an eye on that. If they just end up going, it is what it is. They get rid of Tom and get out of that contract, go for a rebuild. They go for one of these quarterbacks next year. Maybe they wait one more year. Everyone's going to be, trying to aim for Arch, that kind of deal. So we'll see. But it's interesting. But Aaron Rodgers going there, that doesn't really make sense. But I don't know who really wants him at this point, given the way
It's a waste of time. Yeah.
So, all right. So that we've done NBA. We went on football. We're gonna go back to the NBA now. Anyone remember Shaolin Showdown? I think it might have really had an effect on Victor Wembanyama. Because what is going on with that?
Hey man, he's on another mode. Year 3 finna be crazy, man.
He locked in, and he really locked in. He's waking up at 4:30 a.m. They said training with the monks. You don't want anybody coming in to see him, bro.
Hey, that's I mean, Tim Duncan was a San Antonio Spur too. I'm just saying.
Very similar. You're right.
Kind of locked in, that kind of quiet, do your own thing, just silent assassin. I mean, I'm just saying, if he wants to, if he gets right, he can just take over. No, nobody's stopping that. Like if he really wants to, he builds himself up, gets more strength a little bit. If he can stay healthy, I mean, who's stopping him? Especially if they get get picked with the second pick.
Or to get KD. That's been part of the discussions. They're one of the teams in for KD.
Right.
Yeah, they did. They have been talking about KD going to the Spurs. That'd be a little crazy.
I'm just saying, like, there's options there, and I mean, I'm not shooting over a guy that's got that kind of wingspan. I'm just being honest with you. Obviously, I'm an average dude, but I mean, even the superstars, like, it takes somebody incredible like Steph Curry to shoot over him, and you'd be able to do that. And we saw that in the Olympics. But I mean, let him get a little more mature, get older. Find those little tendencies and just dominate the game. Like I said, who's stopping that? Who's stopping him coming in?
I mean, they're not really stopping him now, so that's part of the thing here. Only thing that stopped it was an injury, and then acquiring talent. You'll have De'Aaron Fox, Wemby. They get either someone with a number 2 pick here. They go and get some veterans. It's a place to go. If I'm a veteran and I'm I'm still younger, I'm trying to go to the Spurs. They're trying to figure. I mean, the coaching situation's in transition, so that's part of it. Shout out to Pop for his many years, but he definitely needs to work on his health. That's good to see. They did a little transition. Yeah. I always think that's part of a good culture, because even when we talk about big men, where that's David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Victor, very similar, slightly different kind of dudes, but dominant at the end of the day. And, he's been put on some muscle. The mentality, I think, is just very Spurs mentality, Spurs culture.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. I'm making jokes and everything else, but working on that, I think, is a big part of upping your game and seeing him do that. The difference between him doing that, meanwhile, you got Ant living a very different lifestyle out here.
Hey, that boy Ant, he's hopping now.
He hopping. He hopping. He hopping all right.
He got a whole army.
To the next. My man building a team. He came in there like Nick Fury. I'm building a team. Like, come on, man.
Nah, for real. Like a whole army.
He's still better than Ja, though. He's still better than Ja. He's still doing better than Ja.
Is it?
It's
different kinds of bad.
It's different kinds of bad.
It's off court. It's off court.
But I'm saying Ja's off court's affected his on court.
Yeah, Ja's brought it all on. I give that to you. That's fair.
I'm just saying the production and the way that his team's moved on, even with his off court stuff, versus the way all Ant needs is a good little mentor. I'm telling you, it'll be all right.
I mean, it's getting to that point where it's time, because I think like the last couple of years we're looking at him, we're like, he's getting close, and it feels like that buildup that you get, like when Jordan had to get past the Pistons, or or LeBron couldn't quite get past Detroit, and then or the Celtics later, and then he finally does, and it seems like that's almost where Ant is. It isn't just like a one team, but is he going to break that ceiling? Like everybody wants him to be the face, but then maybe Victor comes in and takes it. It seems like the face has to have a certain amount of personality, and everyone's searching for that. But we'll table
Yeah.
the face conversation for maybe next week. We'll start thinking who when
Yeah.
the finals in, we'll start picking who's going to be the next face of the NBA. That's everyone's topic right now. All right, I think it's time for one piece at a time. Brandon, you left us off. You had said you were been 7 episodes in about with One Piece. What episode are you on now? How much has changed? Walk us through where you left off and what happened since then.
62, I believe.
Whoa! I thought you were on like episode 30.
Yeah, he on 62, bro.
Yeah, I
Trying to
was
tell
Yo!
you.
in the second season now. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
dang, he got it. He got the disease,
He
my boy.
moving. I'm trying to tell
I'm
you, he
That's
moving
how
moving.
it
slowly.
go.
I'm moving slowly.
Moving
Yeah.
slowly, boy. Went from episode 7 to 62 in 1 week.
Hey man. Hey
And
man.
you
I had
wonder
some
why
time.
I got through it in that fast.
I had some
Hey,
time. There was some filler in there,
ten
Bucky,
episodes.
yeah, Captain Bucky, with the little clown
Buggy,
nose,
Buggy.
Buggy, yeah,
Buggy, we gonna get there.
yeah. I had to skip a couple of those. I'm like, yeah, I don't really care too much about him putting himself together. Now I was telling Nick, it's kind of like in Pokemon, Team Rocket. That's what it was. Is it Team Rocket?
Team Rockets from
Yeah, Team
Pokemon.
Yeah,
Rocket. Team
yeah. How
Rocket.
they always get blasted away, and they're like that. That's what it feels like. But I had to think, okay, that was in the same era that time that I'm like watching the
Mm-hmm.
seasons in, so it makes sense. I'm like those similar tropes are kind of like in those
Yeah, it's that same time
episodes.
period. It's the same thing as some of the
Yeah,
weird Naruto episodes, like when
Yeah,
don't
they had
worry. Hey,
Zenitsu
yeah,
only kind of
yeah,
stuff.
it'll start mattering though
Some of the
soon. They're
weird
like,
filler
yeah.
episodes of Bleach is the same. When they're just
yeah,
in high school before they head off, it's some of that same time period. It's all the same.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I saw some cool fights. We saw Nami's origin, and they went back there, and that's when it got real. Y'all saw a clip of that.
Yeah, walk us
Yeah.
through that feeling. I got you going. Yeah, yes, sir. What was that
Well,
like watching when he puts the hat on Nami? Come on, tell me
Mm-hmm.
about that.
She's crying.
there was a whole like expectation of knowing. All right, well, there's obviously a big threat here,
Mm.
and it's building up to something, and it's like, all right, well, yeah, this is a big bad right here, and Nami's like acting kind of weird, and of course you got Usopp doing his thing, where he's kind of like gaslighting people all the time, and then Sanji's kind of just like he's there, but he's like, all right, well, what do we need to do? And then Luffy's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna wait. I'm sitting there and wait until you need me. Like I know you need me, but I'm just here. I'm just gonna wait until the opportunity seems right. And then eventually she started crying, and it was like, what do I need to do? It felt like Big Bro in that situation where it's like, all right, little sis got bullied by somebody. It's like, all right, just let me step in.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's time. Let's go, boys. And that's what it felt like. And I'm like, yep, time to go take care of business. And that's what it was. And now it's like the big coming out moment for Luffy, of course. And in that moment, that's when he got put on the map. He's like, all right, well, okay, he's now officially a pirate, and people actually know about him. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little upset about the Marine dude coming up. I'm like, this how this happened? Like this little sleazy little Marine guy come up there out of nowhere. Oh yeah, I was working with him the whole time. I was working with the what do they call him, the seaman. Yeah, working with them the whole time.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, get out of here, bro. And then yeah, Luffy got his 1-on-1 and got his get back. She was wearing the hat. I was like, yeah, yeah, that's that moment, man. It's that moment. It's like Naruto coming out whenever Sakura was like, calling him for pain, and then he popped out of
yeah.
nowhere like this. Yeah, I was like, yeah,
I don't even know, man.
yeah.
Oh, he got
And I
some new
know
shit's
that's so
coming.
early.
This
It's
got
so
great.
early.
Yeah,
I
it's an
know.
early version. You got to think of the
Oh,
early
that's the
version
early.
more
Yeah,
so.
there's levels to it. There's levels
And
to
I'm
it.
like,
I
because
feel like,
there's
yeah,
no like, he's still like in his base form. There's no like, he's had no special training or anything yet. So I'm like, he's just kind of going off of his raw strength with his devil fruit and those powers he has. So yeah, but I was excited about that. And then they got to the island where, the original OG King of Pirates was there, and he died, and there was a little bit of a build up with Smoke, and I'm like, okay, he's about to he's about to be important because I kept thinking the Marines were kind of just like pushovers. They were like little jokes, and I was like, okay, nope,
yeah.
he's got devil fruit power. I'm like, nah, there we go. We got a serious Marine now. So now we're cooking with something. And I'm like, all right. So I see where it's going, and then Luffy just kind of like you know comedically gets away each time. I'm like, all right, like there's a serious fight popping up, but he's not ready to fight him yet. And I noticed that. And I'm like, all right, baby steps, he's got to develop. And so they go off and they start their adventure, and that's kind of where I am now. Zoro got two new swords, two curse swords and stuff like that. And I'm thinking that girl that he saw, that might have been the one in his backstory. I don't know that yet. Y'all can make faces, but she's important
Make
still.
any
And
face?
you didn't make any faces, but that's what they were alluding to in the anime. That like she could have been the one that he was trying to defeat the whole time, but I don't know. It doesn't quite feel like that, but it could be. I don't know. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
There's
There's some
breadcrumbs
question
all
marks.
throughout the series. You're in a good spot. You're in a good spot.
Yeah, they're now setting sail for the Grand Line, and that's where I was. I left off with them in the well. So the big whale.
Laboo,
So
Laboo, man.
Okay.
yes, sir.
Well, we're happy to see that you were cruising through, or some definitely some key parts that have already happened already that will be relevant. We'll check back in with you next time on One Piece at a Time, featuring Brandon's One Piece journey. We'll kind of close out here, just talking through some of these upcoming shows that are happening, some upcoming seasons. How do we feel about them? Maybe which one are you most excited for? I know B that you watch specifically, Kaiju number 8, season 2 is coming up, so I still have to catch up. I have to say I'm behind.
Oh
We get
snap! You
there.
have it?
No,
Okay.
I got to hit that up. I know. I'll be ready. I'll be ready by
A
season 2,
quick
so
rewatch though.
we can go episode by
Man,
episode
yeah,
when that comes out. But I'm behind on
man,
that,
that's
so I'll hit
good.
that.
That's a quick
So
rewatch.
I know I'm excited for got Sakamoto Days Part 2, Dantadan. Have y'all watched Dantadan on Netflix?
I
Not yet.
haven't. I haven't.
Not yet.
See, that was one of the big ones
I'm
too.
about to
Okay.
get around to it though.
So
I'm on
that's
One Piece
so,
now, so
so you're on One Piece, so you always got
Hey, yeah,
something to
you good?
watch.
Do your thing right now, bro.
You
good.
stay over there. You stay over there. I know there's one thing you're gonna be excited for. That's gonna be Demon Slayer, the movie. That's
Yep.
gonna be different. It's a little easier.
Oh yeah,
So
if I've
we'll
seen it
have that.
already, yeah.
Okay. So y'all see, I've seen Dantadan Kaiju. I haven't seen Kaiju number 8. Sakamoto Days also on Netflix. Dr. Stone. I've seen that. I
I
don't know
was
if you
about to
have.
start watching that, but then I took a break because I was watching. It was another show I was watching. I think I was watching Invincible, but I'm gonna get back around. I understand. I'm gonna get back
Well,
around to
Invincibles,
it.
we got all kind of
Yes,
stuff
sir.
coming out,
Yes,
but
sir, man. Yes,
I don't know.
sir.
I feel like I gotta watch Kaiju number 8. That's for sure. I don't know. I really enjoy the difference with Doctor Stone, not being like your standard kind of shonen kind of show, and relying on the science part. It's a little bit different feel. If you're not into that, you're not going to enjoy it. If it's not as many fights, that kind of deal. It's more thinking and just kind of watching them build the world building part of it, which you get kind of all of those things again in One Piece, but in other shows too. But I'm excited about the Demon Slayer movie, hoping that the animation comes through and everyone gets to enjoy
Oh,
it.
you know it will.
We'll have to maybe hit a clip of us all going to watch it, and we'll talk through and break that down too. But no,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good summer. Some things coming up. We'll see how the finals shape out, and the rest of it all. Any other things y'all wanted to talk through?
Man, I'm just really hyped with where One Piece is at right now. And just after watching that past episode, I just can't wait, man. That's all I
Yeah,
gotta say. Just can't wait. There's a lot of build up right now, so
a lot of build up.
it's
You should be
crazy.
excited. The manga is going crazy right now. It's so you're caught up with the anime. I'm caught up with the manga, and Brandon is just getting going, and it's perfect place to be.
Because it's about to get to the end times right now. That's what you said. So
It's
it's
getting
the end
close.
is right there.
It's getting there. So it's Oda Sensei is doing his thing. We're right there. I'm excited about it to see how this goes, and we're gonna have that dead zone a little bit through the time of the in between the NBA finals. We'll have WNBA and a couple other sports going on, so we'll talk on those a little bit. But be a perfect time for us to do a couple episodes recalling our favorite nostalgic shows that we watched. One thing that is coming back, Ronin Warriors. I posted about that earlier this week. Is gonna have it's from the '80s, so that was also a show that is very similar to, like the Sentai, where they have like the 5 and they have the transformations and they all have the fight. The animation looks great, coming out January 2026. So that on Crunchyroll, that is something I think anyone can get into. That same era of like Voltron, Thundercats, looks good. Would recommend that at some point. Maybe we'll just touch on a couple episodes and highlight them over the rest of the summer, and then when the NFL season starts, we'll jump right into that. But yeah, this has been Leftover Ramen episode 2. We just broke it down.
Episode 2.
So we're gonna deuce out of here. Appreciate it.